Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever felt like you've lost your way? Like life has knocked you down so hard that getting up seems impossible? Well, I'm here to tell you that no matter how broken you feel, you have the power to rebuild yourself. Rebuilding isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about becoming stronger than you ever were before. It's about taking the pieces of your life, no matter how shattered, and creating something beautiful out of them. Rebuilding yourself starts with something incredibly important, taking ownership of your past without allowing it to define who you are. Life is full of experiences, some good, some bad, and some that leave scars. But here's the thing, your past is just that past. It's behind you, and while it has shaped you in many ways, it does not have the power to control who you are today or who you will become. It's natural to feel like the past has a hold on you, especially when it's filled with pain or regret. The mistakes we've made, the times we've failed, or the times we've been hurt can feel like chains we can't break free from. But those chains are not real, they're only as strong as you allow them to be. The truth is, your past is just a collection of moments, each one passing by like a river that flows into the distance. You can choose to dwell in those moments, or you can choose to rise above them. This doesn't mean forgetting your past or pretending it didn't happen. It means acknowledging it for what it is, a part of your story, but not the whole story. You have the power to rewrite your narrative, to take the lessons from your past and use them to propel yourself forward. It's easy to think that the mistakes you've made are permanent stains on your character, but let me tell you, you are not your mistakes. You are more than the sum of your past failures. Every one of us has faced difficulties and made decisions we regret, but that doesn't make us bad people. It makes us human. Owning your past means you take responsibility for your actions without allowing them to hold you back. It means forgiving yourself for the things you wish you'd done differently and understanding that you did the best you could with the knowledge you had at the time. When you forgive yourself, you free yourself. You let go of the weight of guilt and shame that holds you back from moving forward. In the process of rebuilding, you also realize that your past doesn't need to dictate your future. Just because you've made mistakes doesn't mean you're destined to repeat them. Your future is not predetermined by your past, but shaped by the choices you make every single day. So, stop holding on to the idea that your past defines you. It doesn't. What defines you is the person you choose to be today and every day from here on out. To truly rebuild, you must let go of the idea that you're bound by your history. Every day offers you a fresh start, a new chance to make different choices, to become a better version of yourself. Your past may have shaped you, but it doesn't have to limit you. You are the author of your own story, and the pen is in your hands. So, take ownership of your past, learn from it, but don't let it tell you who you are or what you're capable of. The future is wide open, and it's yours for the taking. Rebuilding yourself starts with facing your reality, and this can be one of the hardest steps. It's not easy to look at your life, with all its imperfections, failures, and broken pieces, and accept it for what it is. Yet, this is where the journey of healing and growth begins. The first step toward rebuilding yourself is being brutally honest with yourself about where you are right now. This doesn't mean beating yourself up over what's gone wrong or dwelling on your mistakes. It means acknowledging your current situation without shame or denial. Only when you accept your reality as it is can you begin to change it. Many of us spend so much time running away from our reality. We hide behind distractions or try to avoid confronting the truth because we're afraid of what we'll find. But the truth doesn't go away just because we avoid it. It follows us, and it affects how we live our lives. Facing your reality doesn't mean accepting failure, pain, or unhappiness as permanent states. It means recognizing them as temporary parts of your journey that can be changed with the right actions, mindset, and support. This is where the importance of accepting help comes in. Too often, we think that facing our reality means doing everything ourselves, shouldering the weight of our struggles in silence. We convince ourselves that asking for help is a sign of weakness, but in reality, it's a sign of strength. No one is meant to go through life alone. We are social beings, and seeking help when we need it is one of the most powerful tools we have in our journey of rebuilding. The help you need can come in many forms. Sometimes it's a conversation with a friend who listens without judgment. Other times it's seeking guidance from a mentor who can offer wisdom from their own experiences. There may be times when professional help, like therapy or counseling, is what you need to start healing. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's one of the bravest things you can do. Accepting help isn't just about getting someone else's perspective. It's also about giving yourself the permission to be vulnerable. It's about understanding that it's okay to not have all the answers, and that asking for assistance doesn't make you any less capable. On the contrary, it makes you more resourceful. You are giving yourself the opportunity to learn from others, to lean on their strength when yours feels drained, and to realize that seeking support is a key part of your rebuilding process. Facing your reality also requires you to let go of the fantasy of perfection. We often feel pressure to have it all together, to look like we've got it all figured out. Social media, society, and even family expectations can make us feel like we are failing if we don't meet certain standards. But life isn't about perfection. It's about growth, learning, and evolving. When you face your reality, you free yourself from the unrealistic expectations of having to be perfect and accept the truth that you're allowed to grow at your own pace. This also means letting go of the idea that you have to have it all under control. It's easy to think that we must have our life in perfect order before we can move forward, but that's simply not how life works. There's never a perfect time to start rebuilding, and there will always be challenges to face. But when you face your reality with an open heart and mind, you allow yourself the space to take imperfect steps toward healing and progress. Moreover, accepting help is crucial because it allows you to focus on the areas of your life that need the most attention. It helps you understand where you need to grow, what you need to heal, and what steps you need to take to become stronger. Sometimes, when we're too close to the problem, we can't see the bigger picture. Having a support system helps us gain perspective and find solutions that we might have missed. Facing your reality doesn't mean resigning yourself to a life of struggle. It means acknowledging where you are, accepting your flaws, failures, and pain, and understanding that these things don't define you. They're just parts of your story, not the whole narrative, and once you face your reality, you're in a better position to make the changes necessary to rebuild yourself. In this process, you'll also discover that facing your reality helps you build resilience. It teaches you how to handle setbacks and how to bounce back stronger than before. You'll start to see obstacles as challenges to overcome, not as insurmountable walls. When you accept help and face your reality, you become more equipped to handle whatever comes your way, knowing that you have the strength to rebuild, no matter how difficult the journey may be. In the process of rebuilding yourself, one of the most vital components is self-love. It is often overlooked or underestimated, especially when we're in the midst of challenging times. We focus on fixing everything around us, our circumstances, our relationships, and our external environment. But too often we forget the most important part of rebuilding, the relationship we have with ourselves. Self-love is not just about pampering yourself or indulging in luxuries. It's about taking the time to nurture, honor, and care for yourself on a deep, personal level. It's about recognizing your worth, despite your flaws, imperfections, and past mistakes. Many people struggle with self-love love, because they are too harsh on themselves. They hold themselves to impossible standards, expecting perfection in everything they do. But here's the reality: no one is perfect, and perfection should never be the goal. Rebuilding yourself requires accepting who you are right now, with all of your strengths and weaknesses. It's about looking in the mirror and embracing both the beauty and the flaws that make you unique. When you practice self-love, you create the space to acknowledge your imperfections without letting them define you. You allow yourself to be human, to make mistakes, and to grow from them. One of the first steps towards self-love is self-acceptance. It's about coming to terms with who you are in this moment, regardless of your past, your failures, or your challenges. When you accept yourself fully, you stop trying to be someone you're not or striving for an impossible version of yourself. Self-acceptance doesn't mean you stop striving for growth or improvement. It means recognizing that you are enough, just as you are right now. You don't need to be perfect to be worthy of love, respect, and care. You are worthy simply because you exist. Another essential aspect of self-love is forgiveness. So many people carry around guilt, shame, and regret from their past. They beat themselves up for mistakes they've made, for choices they wish they could take back, for things they can't change. But holding on to these feelings only hinders your growth and prevents you from rebuilding. Forgiving yourself is one of the most powerful acts of self-love. It means releasing the weight of past mistakes and accepting that they don't define who you are today. Self-forgiveness allows you to move forward without the burden of shame and guilt holding you back. Self-love also involves setting healthy boundaries. Many people struggle to love themselves because they give too much of themselves to others, leaving nothing for themselves. Whether it's in relationships, work, or daily interactions, constantly giving without receiving can lead to burnout and resentment. Setting boundaries is a form of self-respect. It's recognizing that your time, energy, and emotional well-being are valuable and deserve protection. When you establish clear boundaries, you create the space to focus on your own healing, growth, and well-being. Taking care of your body is also an important part of self-love. Your body is the vessel that carries you through life, and it deserves to be treated with respect. This means nourishing it with healthy food, getting enough rest, and engaging in physical activity that makes you feel good. But self-love is not just about taking care of your physical health, it's also about caring for your mental and emotional health. This could mean taking time to relax, meditate, or simply engage in activities that bring you joy and peace. It's important to prioritize your well-being and make time for yourself, even when life feels overwhelming. In rebuilding yourself, self-love means being your own biggest cheerleader. Often, we look outside of ourselves for validation, waiting for others to recognize our worth or tell us that we are good enough. But true self-love comes from within. It means learning to encourage yourself, to celebrate your small victories, and to recognize your progress, even when it feels like you're not where you want to be. You don't need external approval to feel worthy. You can find that worth within yourself, and the more you practice self-love, the more natural it becomes to believe in yourself and your potential. Ultimately, self-love is about recognizing that you are the most important person in your life. You are the one who will walk with yourself through every challenge, every success, and every failure. If you don't love and care for yourself, it becomes much harder to rebuild and create the life you want. Self-love is the foundation upon which everything else is built. When you have a strong sense of self-worth, you can tackle challenges with resilience, embrace your imperfections, and take bold steps toward your future. Self-love doesn't happen overnight, but with time and practice, it becomes an integral part of who you are, a driving force behind your journey to rebuild yourself. Rebuilding yourself is a journey that takes time, and one of the most important things to understand about this journey is the role that patience plays. We live in a world that glorifies speed and instant results. Whether it's getting fit, achieving success, or finding happiness, we are constantly bombarded with messages that tell us everything should happen quickly. Social media, advertising, and even our own internal pressures encourage us to get what we want right away. But the truth is, true growth and transformation do not happen overnight. They require patience, perseverance, and a long-term commitment to the process. Patience is often misunderstood. It's not just about waiting passively for something to happen. It's about actively working on yourself, making steady progress, and trusting that the results will come in due time. It's easy to feel frustrated or discouraged when things aren't happening as fast as we'd like, but the truth is that growth takes time. The process of rebuilding is not linear. There will be setbacks, days when it feels like nothing is changing, and moments when you question whether it's worth it. But it's in those moments that patience becomes your greatest ally. Without patience, you risk giving up too soon, missing the opportunity for true transformation. When you're rebuilding yourself, you are essentially reprogramming your mindset, habits, and perspectives. This takes time. It's about unlearning old patterns of thinking, replacing them with new, healthier beliefs, and creating a foundation for long-term success. The process of changing old behaviors or thoughts that no longer serve you cannot be rushed. You can't expect to wake up one day and magically be the person you want to be. It's a gradual process that requires consistency and dedication. Every small step you take, every decision you make, adds to the bigger picture. Sometimes it may feel like you're not making progress, but remember that even the smallest changes are important. Over time, these changes accumulate and lead to significant transformation. Patience also means accepting that setbacks are a natural part of the process. Rebuilding yourself is not about avoiding challenges, but about learning how to navigate them with grace and resilience. When you face setbacks, it's easy to feel defeated or like you're not moving forward, but the truth is that setbacks are just opportunities for growth. They are the moments when you learn the most about yourself and your capacity to bounce back. It's in these moments that patience becomes essential. If you give up every time something doesn't go according to plan, you'll never experience the growth that comes from working through difficulties. Another aspect of patience in the rebuilding process is learning to trust the timeline of your life. We often compare ourselves to others, measuring our progress against their achievements. But everyone's journey is different, and just because someone else seems to be moving faster doesn't mean you're falling behind. Trusting your own timeline is crucial for growth. There is no one-size-fits-all blueprint for success, and your path will look different from others. The key is to stay focused on your own journey, trusting that the right opportunities will come at the right time. Patience allows you to let go of the need for constant comparison and embrace the unique timing of your life. True growth also requires patience with yourself. We tend to be our own harshest critics, expecting perfection and quick results. But growth is messy, and it takes time to develop new habits and beliefs. Patience with yourself means giving yourself grace, allowing yourself to make mistakes, and recognizing that the process is just as important as the end result. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't go as planned, but patience helps you stay grounded and focused on the long-term goal. When you're patient with yourself, you allow space for growth, healing, and progress, even on the days when it feels like nothing is changing. In many ways, patience is the secret ingredient to lasting transformation. It's the quiet, steadfast commitment to keep going, even when the results aren't immediate. It's the understanding that change doesn't happen in a moment. It happens over time through consistent effort and dedication. When you embrace patience in your journey of rebuilding, you create a solid foundation for growth. It's not about rushing through the process or trying to get to the finish line as quickly as possible. It's about taking your time doing the work and trusting that everything will fall into place when it's meant to. The most meaningful and lasting transformations are those that take time to unfold, so be patient with yourself, trust the process, and know that growth is happening, even when it doesn't feel like it. In the process of rebuilding yourself, it's easy to get caught up in the idea that big, dramatic changes are the only things that matter. We often envision the end result, the person we want to become, and expect that transformation to happen in an instant. But the truth is, true growth happens in the small, everyday steps we take. These small steps, even when they seem insignificant at the time, are what add up to create real and lasting change. Rebuilding yourself isn't about waiting for a single moment of greatness. It's about making consistent, incremental progress day by day. One of the most important lessons in rebuilding is understanding that small steps matter. It's easy to feel discouraged when you don't see instant results. We live in a world that celebrates quick fixes, fast results, and instant gratification. But personal growth doesn't work that way. It's the steady, persistent actions that bring about the most significant change. Every small effort you make, whether it's waking up early, making a healthier choice, or taking time for self-care, contributes to the bigger picture of your transformation. These small steps are the building blocks of a stronger, healthier, and more resilient you. Often, we overlook the importance of these small victories. When we focus only on the bigger goals, we forget to celebrate the small wins along the way. But these small victories are just as important, if not more so, than the larger milestones. Each time you overcome a challenge, no matter how small, you're strengthening your resolve. Every time you make a positive choice, you're reinforcing the new habits you're trying to create. These small wins build momentum and keep you moving forward, even when the larger goal feels far out of reach. When you take the time to acknowledge and celebrate these victories, no matter how tiny they may seem, you build confidence and motivation to continue pushing forward. Another key aspect of small steps is that they help you avoid feeling overwhelmed. Rebuilding yourself can feel like a massive undertaking, and it's easy to get lost in the enormity of the task. But when you break down your journey into smaller, manageable steps, it becomes much easier to navigate. Instead of looking at the big picture and feeling defeated by how much work is ahead, focus on the next small step you need to take. It could be something as simple as setting aside time for yourself, taking a walk to clear your mind, or choosing to forgive yourself for a past mistake. These small steps keep you focused and prevent you from feeling paralyzed by the scope of the change you're trying to create. They remind you that you don't need to have it all figured out right now. You just need to take one step at a time. As you continue to take these small steps, you'll start to notice a shift in your mindset. You'll begin to see that progress is happening, even when it feels slow. Every small step is a victory in itself, because it shows that you're committed to your growth. It shows that you're willing to take the time and effort necessary to create lasting change. The more you make these small efforts, the more they become a part of who you are. Eventually, these small steps will become ingrained in your routine, and they'll lead to the larger transformation you've been working toward. Additionally, these small steps help you build resilience. When you face setbacks or challenges, it's easy to get discouraged, but when you focus on the small victories, you learn how to bounce back. Resilience isn't built overnight. It's developed through consistent small efforts, and it's this resilience that will carry you through the toughest parts of your rebuilding journey. Each small step you take in the face of adversity makes you stronger and more capable of handling whatever comes next. You learn to trust yourself, your abilities, and your capacity to persevere, even when things are difficult. Small steps also allow you to build a sense of progress. When you feel like you're not making much headway, it can be easy to lose hope. but every small step you take is progress. Each time you make a choice that aligns with your goals, you're moving forward. You don't need to see instant results to know that you're on the right path. Trust the process and trust that each small effort is adding up to something bigger. It's like laying bricks to build a house. You may not see the structure right away, but over time, those bricks will create something solid and lasting. In rebuilding yourself, the small steps are often the most powerful. They may not be as glamorous or visible as the larger milestones, but they are what sustain you on your journey. These steps build your foundation, strengthen your character, and give you the confidence to keep going. So, don't discount the small victories, celebrate them, embrace them, and understand that they are the key to lasting transformation. It's through these small, consistent efforts that true change is made. Every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to the person you are meant to be. One of the most transformative aspects of rebuilding yourself is the ability to change your mindset. It's easy to look at challenges as obstacles, things that stop you in your tracks or make you feel like giving up. When things don't go as planned, or life throws curveballs at you, the first instinct is often to feel defeated, angry, or frustrated. But the truth is, challenges are not the end of the road. They are opportunities in disguise, waiting to be seen and embraced. Changing the way you view challenges can make all the difference in your journey of rebuilding. Instead of seeing challenges as threats, try seeing them as opportunities for growth, learning, and self-discovery. The first step in changing your mindset is acknowledging that challenges are a part of life. Everyone faces them, no one is exempt. Whether it's a personal setback, a career obstacle, or a difficult relationship, challenges are a natural part of the human experience. The more we resist these challenges, the more they drain us, but when we accept them as part of our journey, we take away their power to overwhelm us. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can start asking, "What can I learn from this? How can I grow through this?" This shift in perspective is what separates those who stay stuck in their struggles from those who use their challenges to propel themselves forward. When you see a challenge as an opportunity, you stop focusing on what you don't have or what's going wrong, and start focusing on what you can gain from the experience. Every challenge teaches us something, whether it's patience, resilience, creativity, or problem solving. These are the qualities that will help you rebuild yourself. When you change your mindset, you start seeing challenges as stepping stones, not roadblocks. One of the key elements of shifting your mindset is learning to embrace discomfort. We often associate comfort with safety and security, but growth rarely happens in the comfort zone. In fact, it's in the moments of discomfort that we experience the most significant transformation. Whether you're facing a difficult decision, a personal failure, or an uncomfortable change, embracing discomfort allows you to push beyond your limits. It's about saying, "I'm willing to feel uneasy for a moment, if it means I'll grow stronger, smarter, and more capable in the long run." Challenges force you to adapt, think differently, and find solutions that you may not have considered before. This is how you stretch yourself and evolve into a stronger, more capable person. Changing your mindset also means being open to new possibilities. Often, when we face challenges, our initial reaction is to focus on the negative aspects, the problems, the setbacks, the things that didn't go as planned. But this narrow focus can blind us to the opportunities that lie within those very challenges. For example, if you lose a job or face a setback in your career, it might feel like the worst thing that could happen. But what if that setback is an opportunity to explore a new career path, to learn new skills, or to start something you've always dreamed of? When you shift your mindset, you start to see the silver lining in every situation, even when it's hard to spot at first. Every challenge opens up a world of new possibilities, and the only way to discover them is to keep an open mind. Additionally, changing your mindset involves being proactive rather than reactive. When challenges arise, it's easy to react out of fear, anger, or frustration. But being reactive keeps you stuck in a cycle of negative emotions and helplessness. On the other hand, being proactive allows you to take control of the situation and choose how you respond. Instead of allowing challenges to dictate your mood and actions, take a step back, evaluate the situation, and decide how you can respond in a way that serves your long-term goals. This proactive mindset enables you to stay focused, motivated, and solution-oriented, even in the face of adversity. Another important aspect of mindset change is cultivating a growth mindset. People with a growth mindset see failure as an opportunity to learn and improve, not as an indication of their limitations. They understand that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. In contrast, those with a fixed mindset believe that their abilities are static and that failure is a reflection of their inherent shortcomings. A growth mindset allows you to view challenges not as threats to your self-worth, but as opportunities to learn and grow. When you approach challenges with a growth mindset, you become more adaptable, resilient, and willing to take on new challenges without fear of failure. As you rebuild yourself, remember that changing your mindset is a continual process. It's not something that happens overnight. It takes practice, self-awareness, and a willingness to challenge your own thoughts and beliefs. But with time, you'll find that challenges no longer feel like insurmountable obstacles. Instead, they'll become opportunities to learn, grow, and become the person you were always meant to be. Your mindset has the power to shape your reality. When you change the way you view challenges, you change the way you experience life. And that, in turn, will change the way you rebuild yourself. One of the most difficult things to accept in life is failure. It's easy to feel defeated when things don't go the way we expect. We pour so much of ourselves into our dreams, our work, and our relationships, only to see them crumble or fall short. It's painful, and it often makes us question our abilities, our worth, and our future. But here's the truth: failure is not the end. In fact, failure is often the beginning of something greater. It's through failure that we learn, grow, and ultimately rebuild ourselves stronger than before. The first step in learning from failure is shifting our mindset. We've been taught to view failure as something negative, something to be avoided at all costs. But if we look closely, failure holds valuable lessons that success simply cannot teach us. It's not the failure itself that defines us, but how we respond to it. Do we let it break us down, or do we use it as an opportunity to reflect, learn, and improve? The choice is ours. When you fail, it's important to take a step back and reflect on what went wrong. This doesn't mean blaming yourself or beating yourself up. Instead, it means looking at the situation objectively, understanding the mistakes you made, and acknowledging the things you could have done differently. Failure often provides us with the clearest insights into what needs to change. It exposes our weaknesses, our blind spots, and the areas where we need to improve. By recognizing these areas, we can turn failure into a blueprint for growth. One of the most valuable aspects of failure is that it teaches resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to keep moving forward even when things seem impossible. When we face failure, we have two options. We can let it stop us, or we can rise up, learn from it, and try again. Resilience isn't about never failing. It's about how we handle failure when it comes. Each time we face a setback and keep going, we build our mental strength. We prove to ourselves that we are capable of overcoming obstacles, no matter how big they may seem. Failure also teaches humility. When we fail, we realize that we don't know everything, and we're not always in control. This realization is essential for growth. It helps us stay grounded and open to new ideas, perspectives, and approaches. Humility allows us to learn from others, to accept feedback, and to seek help when needed. Without failure, we would never learn the value of humility or the importance of staying teachable. Another lesson that failure teaches is perseverance. It's easy to be motivated when things are going well, but true growth happens when we continue to push forward, even when it feels like everything is against us. Perseverance is the ability to keep going, even when success seems distant or impossible. Every time we fail and keep going, we develop a deeper sense of determination. We become less afraid of failure because we realize that failure doesn't define us. It's just a part of the process. It's also important to understand that failure doesn't mean we are not good enough. We often internalize failure and believe it means we are not capable, smart, or worthy. But that's simply not true. Failure is just feedback, not a reflection of our worth. It's an indication that we need to adjust our approach, try something different, or develop new skills. Just because something didn't work out doesn't mean we can't achieve it eventually. The most successful people are often the ones who have failed the most. They didn't let failure stop them. They learned from it and kept moving forward. In fact, some of the greatest lessons in life come from the things that don't go right. When everything is going well, it's easy to stay in our comfort zones and not challenge ourselves. It's through failure that we are pushed outside our comfort zones. We are forced to rethink our strategies, to become more creative, and to find new ways to approach problems. This is where true growth happens. Failure forces us to step up, to adapt, and to find the strength within ourselves that we didn't know existed. The key to learning from failure is not to dwell on it, but to use it as a tool for improvement. Every failure is an opportunity to become better, smarter, and more resilient. It's not the failure itself that matters, but what we do with it. Do we allow it to defeat us, or do we take the lessons it offers and use them to rebuild? By reframing failure as a stepping stone rather than a roadblock, we free ourselves to learn, grow, and ultimately succeed in ways we never thought possible.